Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders, welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you also find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We'll also drop a link to the free Telegram group in the description of this video, and we'll also handle or take care of the recap at the latter part of this video, so stay tuned. So let's jump into the economic calendar for the coming week. So for the coming week, on Monday and Tuesday, we don't have any high impact news on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have the CPI for USD and also Bank of Canada's overnight rates also on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to have the Euro main refinancing rates or the monetary policy statement, and then also later in the day, we're going to have the USD core PPI and also the ECB press conference after core PPI, and then on Friday we're going to have the GBP's GDP on Friday. So let's see what we have on the charts for the coming week. So currently now DXY has now finally shown bullish commitment, and we have to go with that flow. So going into next week, all we are looking out for is a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for buying opportunities and take our buys to the upside. Should price pull back a bit deeper into the second zone, we can still look out for the buying opportunities from here to the upside. We can only consider DXY bearish if this low or this zone is cleared and we move to the downside. Until then, we are extremely bullish on DXY for the coming week. This is the Japanese JPY currency index, and for JPY index, price has currently reacted strongly from an area of interest, and so going into next week, we're going to look out for a possible pullback to give us a higher low formation and look for buying opportunities to the upside. Price might likely head towards these highs we have here, so that will be the ultimate target for price should it move bullish for the Japanese yen index. So we are bullish on the Japanese yen index. Initially, we're on the sell side, and we're looking out to see if price was going to reach any of these TPs, but price has turned around and it didn't make its way to these targets here. So we're going to look for more sells on the XXX JPY pairs for the coming week. This is EURUSD, and now we finally have a nice bearish commitment on price. So going into next week, all we are looking forward to is a possible pullback here, and we look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. If we are fortunate for this pullback to happen before CPI on Wednesday, then we are likely to see CPI give us that momentum to the downside if price makes its way to this area of interest before the CPI news is released. So we are very bearish on EURUSD for the coming week. So these are the various targets we have for EURUSD sells. This is GBPUSD, and we're also extremely bearish on GBPUSD for now due to DXY strength. So all we are waiting for is a possible pullback into this area of interest. Look for selling opportunities here to the downside. We are currently holding a sell position on GU, so we'll tackle that in the recap at the end of the video. And so should price pull back to the second zone or second area of interest we have here, we'll still be interested in taking the sells from there to the downside. So these are the various targets we have for GBPUSD on the sell side. We have here USDCAD, and USDCAD is forming a very huge harmonic pattern. So let me identify the pattern here. So this is a possible formation that is likely to happen. So this is the X, this is the A, this is the B leg, this is the C leg. We are looking forward to the D leg all the way up. So this is a possible shark or cipher pattern, and as we can see from the C leg, we have a nice inverted and shoulder that has developed on a weekly time frame. So this is the inverted and shoulder that has developed. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder we have here. So we are looking forward to a continuation to the upside. So all we are waiting for is a possible pullback into any of these two areas of interest we have here. Should price pull back to this area of interest here, first area of interest, look for buying opportunities here to the upside. Should it pull back to the second area of interest below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from there to the upside. So we are looking forward to this possible cipher or shark pattern on USDCAD for the coming week or weeks ahead of us. This is USDCHF, and so for USDCHF, we've had this huge deep crab pattern which has completed, and now we are looking forward to see it buy to the various TPs, that is the TP1 and the TP2. And as we can see here, it's not very clear, but it is what it is. So this is forming an inverted and shoulder, a possible inverted and shoulder right here. So all this area or this consolidation we see right here is the left shoulder, sorry, and this move we had here is the head, and now we have the right shoulder developing. And if you watch closely, the right shoulder is giving us an inverted and shoulder formation. So if you can see, this is the inverted and shoulder that has developed at the possible right shoulder, which we are looking out for on USDCHF. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder. So we are looking forward to see price continue to the upside. So all we are looking forward to is a possible pullback into these two areas of interest. Should price pull back here, we look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should it pull back to the second zone below, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. So we are very bullish on USDCHF for the coming week. This is AUDUSD. AUDUSD has also reacted from a nice area of interest and has given us this beautiful head and shoulder formation. So all we are looking forward to is a possible pullback into the neckline and look for selling opportunities to the downside in the coming week. So if you're not seeing it clearly, this is the head and shoulder I'm talking about. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and we are going to see a continuation to the downside. So all we are waiting for is a possible pullback to retest the neckline, and we'll take ourselves to the downside for AUDUSD. So these are the various targets we have for AUDUSD for the coming week. This is NZDUSD, and NZDUSD has also given us a strong reversal pattern from this area of resistance. So we can see this double top formation right here, and all we are looking forward to is to see price retest the neckline of this double top formation and look for selling opportunities to the downside. So we are also very bearish due to DXY's strength. So all we are waiting for is a possible pullback into the neckline of this double top formation, and we'll take ourselves to the downside to these various TPs we have below for NZDUSD. And this is USDJPY. USDJPY is also forming a very huge harmonic pattern, which is I think a butterfly pattern, which has been identified here. So this is the X, A, B, C, and then our D leg. We are yet to see price make its way to the D leg or the butterfly potential reversal zone at 168. So should JPY index show strength and DXY, which is also looking very strong, we might likely see a lot of consolidations on this pair, since both pairs or both currencies are very strong. But DXY might likely overpower the yen index. So going into next week, we are looking forward to a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. Should price pull back to the second zone here, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here also to the upside. So these are the various targets we have for USDJPY for the coming week. And this is GBPJPY. Considering JPY's possible strength, we are likely going to see some bearishness on GBPJPY, which is different, or let me say opposite of what we are likely going to see on USDJPY. So going into next week, we are looking forward to a possible pullback into this area of interest we look for selling opportunities from here to the various targets we have below. Should price pull back a bit higher to the second zone above, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. Should price violate or clear these highs, if price is able to break above and clear these highs, then we know price still has some bullish intent here. So for now, we are bearish on GBPJPY, considering the strength that is likely to play out on the Japanese yen index. This is EURJPY. So for this position, this sell position, sell setup, we took a sell around here somewhere last week, and we took a loss on that. And now price has finally shown commitment, as we were expecting earlier from 2 weeks ago. So going into next week, all we are looking forward to is to see price give us a lower high formation back into the area of interest. We look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. So we are very bearish on EURJPY for the coming week. So these are the various targets we have for EURJPY to the downside. These are the various targets we have for EURJPY. So all we have to do is be patient and see how price pulls back and gives us confirmation to the downside. Should price break above this high, then we know we are going to continue to the upside. Until then, we are bearish on EURJPY. So this is CADJPY. We took a position on this pair, and then due to some fluctuations on the JPY index, which was giving us some weakness in JPY index, we thought price was going to find its way all the way up, but it didn't go up. So going into next week, all we are looking forward to is a possible pullback into this very first area of interest. We look for selling opportunities to the downside. Should price pull back a bit higher into the second zone, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. So these are the various targets we have for CADJPY for the coming week. If price is able to break above this structure point, this daily structure point we have here, then we know we have shifted bullish, and we'll consider the bullish side of things for CADJPY. Sorry. So the CHF pairs have actually shifted very bullish now. So going into next week, GBPCHF, we are going to look forward to this possible pullback into this area of interest. Looking forward to a possible pullback to this very first area of interest, and look for buying opportunities to the upside. Should price pull back to the second area of interest below, we will still be interested in taking the buys from there to the upside. So we are very bullish on GBPCHF. This can only be considered bearish, or we can only look at it on the bearish side if price is able to close or break below the structure we have here and continue to the downside. Until then, we are bullish on GBPCHF. This is EURCHF. And EURCHF is also giving us a nice reversal pattern at a very strong area of interest. We have this a weekly area of interest, and we have this nice double bottom formation, sorry. And so what we are going to look out for is a possible pullback to retest the neckline of the double top formation, or even if it comes a bit deeper into this zone, we'll still be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. And as we take our buys, this zone or area here might be a very strong area of resistance and might stall price a bit when it gets here. But then if we get a strong momentum breaking through this area of interest, then we know we are actually heading towards these targets we have above for EURCHF. So we are very bullish on EURCHF. This can only be considered bearish if we find price breaking below or clearing these lows and coming all the way to the downside. So for now, we are extremely bullish on EURCHF. This is CADCHF, and CADCHF is forming a possible inverted edge shoulder. It's not too clear, but let me identify it. So this is the I'm going to use a close of the candles instead. This is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the possible right shoulder that is developing. So we're here to see price drive all the way up to the upside. So going into next week, what we are looking out for is these are the two bullish scenarios. Currently, price has formed a nice inverted shoulder from at this area of interest, so it's giving us a bullish intent. So going into next week, should we get a pullback to the zone or to retest this daily structure we have here or the neckline, we are going to look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. So we are going to look out for this as a first scenario. The second scenario would be if we get price or a weekly candle close above the structure point that has been identified here. If we get a weekly candle close above that and price comes back for a pullback, then we are going to have a very huge inverted and shoulder formation also right here before we see price drive all the way up to the upside. So these are the two scenarios we have for CADCHF. It might not necessarily be a weekly candle closure, but if we're also able to get a daily candle closure above the structure point and we get a pullback or a higher low formation, then we are likely to see another inverted and shoulder develop here. So this will be the left shoulder, this will be the head, and looking forward to a possible right shoulder, and then we'll take off from here to the upside. So we are very bullish on CADCHF for now. If price finds its way to break below this area of interest, then we know we have shifted bearish again. Until then, we are very bullish for CADCHF for the coming week. This is EURGBP. So for EURGBP, we had this setup from last week where when price pulled back into the area of interest, we saw this nice evening star formation. So we're looking out to see price retest this 4-hour structure point. So this was a 4-hour structure point. We're looking forward to see price retest it and give us an entry for us to take ourselves to the downside. Price made its way there, but there was few pips shy of our entry point. So going into next week, we just have to be patient to see how price is going to develop again. Price might just pull back and then create some reversal patterns here, like a huge reversal pattern before taking off, or it can just take off from where it currently is and just keep going to the downside. So if it eludes us and it doesn't come back for a pullback for us to get an entry, we'll continue to look for possible entries along the way to the downside, and these are the various targets we have for EURGBP's huge head and shoulder formation. So we are just going to observe and see how price plays out for the coming week. This is AUDNZD. So last week we anticipated that price was going to give us a pullback into this very first area of interest, or the second area of interest, to give us selling opportunities. We are currently not seeing any clear opportunities to sell now, so we just have to be patient to see how price unfolds within these two zones, and then we'll take our decision to sell from there. Should price have a daily candle close above this structure point here, then we know that we are shifted bullish on AUDNZD. Sorry, this is gold, and so gold has now also shown us a very nice bearish intent. So all we are looking forward to is to see price pull back to this very first area of interest, look for selling opportunities there to the downside. Should price pull back a bit higher to the second zone, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside for gold. So these are the various targets we have for gold for the coming week. This is silver, and it's very similar to what we have on gold. So it's extremely bearish now. So all we are looking forward to is a possible pullback into this area of interest. Look for selling opportunities to the downside to the various targets we have below for silver. And this is Brent crude oil. So as I explained earlier in previous weeks, where DXY's movement was anchored to the movement on crude oil, currently that's interaction, or that's whatever was making crude oil control DXY is no more there. So now we are just going to see some divergent movements on both assets or both pairs. So DXY is an index, and this is a commodity. So sorry, Brent crude oil is still showing its bearish intent to give us selling opportunities to this area of $66 to $75 per barrel. So going into next week, all we are waiting for is a lower high formation, or a possible head and shoulder, or a double top formation within this area of interest, and we look for selling opportunities to this zone we have below. So we are very bearish on Brent crude oil for the coming week, and this will be possible if the P stocks get some fulfillment, finds fulfillment, and they come to an agreement and then we will likely see crude oil correct or sell to the downside. This is US oil. It's very similar to Brent crude oil. All we are waiting for is this possible lower high formation. We look for selling opportunities to the downside. So the zone we have below, and this is the TP1 and this is the TP2, and the zone is between $61 to $70 per barrel for WTI or US oil. We have here Australia 200. And Australia 200 is formed a very big head and shoulder formation, and due to DXY strength, we might likely see weakness in most of the indexes or indices around the world. So going into next week, all we are looking for is a possible pullback into this area of interest. Look for selling opportunities here to the downside. Should price pull back into the second zone above, we will still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. So these are the various targets we have for Australia 200 for the coming week. This is also UK oil. So for the UK oil, what we are looking forward to is to see price a daily candle close below this area of interest we have here. Then we look for a possible pullback into the area of interest once again, and we look for selling opportunities to the downside to complete this harmonic pattern that is developing over there. So we are just going to wait for price to break this area of interest with a daily candle closure, and then we look for a pullback, and then we sell to the downside for FTSE 100 or the UK 100. Lastly, we have the Hong Kong 50. Hong Kong 50 has formed a huge head and shoulder formation, and this is the head and shoulder we have here. This is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and we are yet to see more momentum to the downside to complete this head and shoulder formation. So all we are going to wait for is to see price pull back into this very first area of interest. Look for selling opportunities from here to the downside. Should price pull back all the way to the second zone above, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there. This can only shift bullish if we find price a weekly candle close above this weekly structure here, then we know we are heading to the upside. So let's see what we had from the previous week, or a recap of the previous week. This is BTC Bitcoin. So we had this set up from episode 44, and we took this trade, and we have a very nice and beautiful dip as we anticipated from that week, and price is almost hitting our TP. So going into next week, all we are looking for is to see price pull back. Should price pull back into this area of interest we have here, we will still be interested in taking sales from here to the lower targets we have around the 58,000 to 45,000, and then the worst case scenario is 35,000. So let's look forward to more dips on BTC for the coming week. So all we have to do is to wait for a possible pullback, or if we are fortunate to get a possible pullback into the area of interest identified over there, we just have to look for more selling opportunities to the downside for Bitcoin. This is GBPUSD. So we took this position I think at dawn or during the Asian session before the news or NFP was released. So it was NFP that give us the momentum here to the downside. So these are the targets we are holding on to hit on this GU positions. We are currently in this trade, and let's see how it plays out. I think the last one. The last one is gold. So we took a buy position on gold around here last week, and we took a loss on this position. So this position was a loss. And so thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you for your time. And I will encourage all of us to apply proper risk management to our trades. Let's all trade safe and sound. And I'll catch I wish all of us also a very fruitful week ahead of us and a profitable one as well. So I'll catch you guys and everyone on the next episode. Take good care of yourself and have a wonderful time. Bye bye.